Okay. All right.
Okay, Michael, this is you supporting me, Abby.
Yeah, I'm supporting you. It's always a pleasure to hear Uzo speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Same here, Michael.
All right, Laura. So
Okay.
I'm around if you need anything.
Okay, so ladies, if we can start asking our questions in the chat window. I can see Amina online. I can see there are 2 other sessions going on. I can see Gladys. I can see Oluyemisi. Okay, let's wait for others.
Okay, so we can start, Laura.
Ma, I was thinking we should have more people.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So you let me know anyway when we want to start.
Yes, I'll say hello when we want to start. We should have more people in.
Everyone.
Okay, it's 3. More people are joining in. Good afternoon, team. I know we mostly have ladies here, but if you're a guy and you want to stay, it's open. It's not gendered. So we're waiting for more people to join in. It's 3 o'clock, so I know more people will be joining in now. And so welcome. Kindly introduce yourself in the chat window. Just say hello as you're coming in. You can share a bit about yourself. So the floor is open for that.
Okay, so I suppose we can start.
Okay, so okay.
You want a few more minutes?
Yes, please. Let's do 3:05. I want as many people as possible so that we don't ask. They don't ask the same question all over again. So team, yes. Okay. It's nice to meet you, Genevieve, Ekemini, Amina. Of course, Amina, you have to be glad to be here now. You are part of DSN team. You have to be glad to be here. Oh, this is interesting. We have 2 Ekemini. There's one from Ijebu-Ode, there's one from Akwa Ibom. Hello, ladies. It's nice to meet you guys. Yeah, you have like a name twin in the boot camp. Both of you have said hello to each other in the boot camp group. Okay, we have more people joining in. I'll make the official introduction at 3:05. Introduce yourselves in the chat window. Always glad to have you here. Oyewale today has not introduced herself. Chidima from Rivers. It's nice to have you here. Well, as much as we miss the physical meeting, I think this boot camp being online, we just have people from all over the country. It's nice. Goodness from Ibadan, you're welcome. Aguda from Zaria. Oyewale Yetunde from Lagos. Oluyemisi from Osun State. Esther from Ogun State. This is interesting. We have people from all over. You're welcome. Gladys from Lagos. Gladys, I hope people don't miss the spelling of your name often. It's nice to meet you. Okay. Wemimo from Ekiti. Anissa from Ibadan. Flora from Calabar. I know people will miss the spelling a lot. Apologies in advance for all the name correction you will need to do, but it's nice to have you here. Tenifayo from Ibadan. Tenifayo, cool. Deborah from Ogun State. Grace from Ibadan. Okay. Tamara from Bayelsa. It's nice to have you here. It's almost 3:05. I'll make the official introduction and we can start. Success from Lagos, Grace from Lagos, Favor from Uyo. I like this. There's Grace from Ibadan, Success from Lagos, Blessing from Osun, Favor from Uyo. Like, you should see how the names align. That's nice. It's nice to have you guys here. Okay, you ladies, sorry. It's gender neutral. Okay, team. Rukaya from Lagos. Okay, we have up to 40 participants now. Nimat from Kogi. It's nice to have you here. I hope you guys are enjoying the boot camp. Pemi from Osun. It's Mary that's the official name, Pemi, but I've read it. I can see Mary Ade coming from here. Chizurum from Umaya. In fact, we could have had such a great time at the physical boot camp, but next year will come and interesting things will happen. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. If you've been part of DSN events, you will know Uzo Mkparu. She's great at what she does and she's passionate about being with us. That's one of my favorite things about working with her. She's always open out of her busy schedule. This is something she's serious about. This is I feel that every time she speaks to us, every time she's in our events, she's not just a supporter of the DSM vision, of women vision. She's not just a supporter in mouth. She goes all the way, and I'm excited to have her here. So this session is an open session. It's not like, oh, she has one rigid, it's not like she has a rigid title of what she wants to share about. And I hope that, you will ask questions. I insist that people should ask questions. There is no reason to be ashamed to ask questions. She has done a lot in her career. She's great at what she does. And now she's here to share with us. So the chat window is open. Definitely, I'll read some questions. And so let's have a great time at this. So again, welcome. So I'll let us speak to start this conversation. So ladies, you're welcome again, and the men that are with us in this. So ask your questions, make it deep, make it interesting, and we'll have a great time. So good evening, Ma. You're welcome again.
Thank you so much, Wura. I'm really happy to be here again. I love the work, like you mentioned, I love the work that Data Science Nigeria is doing. I love, as an additional layer, I love the work that is being done around making sure that women and females are not lost in the conversation. We recognize that there are some special things, if you will, or additional things we need to do to just ensure that the women who should be taking up this training, the positions, and really making the impact in AI and data science are there. So I'm very happy to be here. As Wura said, I've left it really open because I got a list of the questions. There are diverse questions that have come in. So I've left it open. Let's have a chat about, how to make the most of this situation. What are the things that from, my experience, things that have worked, what I've seen other people do that has worked, what it is to be female in the, tech space, really, because that is also a factor. So as I say, I'm very happy to be here, and I look forward to us having a really interesting discussion. And also, as has been mentioned, hopefully by this time next year, we'll be having an in-person boot camp, and that will be even better. But this is going to be great anyway. So thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, so I can see a question, is this for ladies only? No, you can be part of this. You don't have to be a lady. The questions are, the questions are what is useful for you in your career. So this is a career one-on-one session. If we will manage it well, if you want to speak, if you want to ask the question directly, you can raise your hand. I will unmute you to talk. So ladies, you have the floor. The questions can come in. So you can ask your questions in the chat window. You can, if you want to speak, if you want to ask her the question directly, you can raise your hand. I will attempt to unmute you. Okay, so Man, so your career in analytics, I know this is a popular question, but we should ask again. How did it start? Was it exactly what you planned out to do?
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for that question. Can you hear me? Okay, yes. Thank you for that question. I think, let me start by saying, yes, I get that question a lot. But I would also say that, before I even get into it, I'll also say that you will find that because data science, AI, and maybe not so much the analytic part is quite new, you'll find that people are getting into this space from very, using very, very diverse routes. There are people who are coming in doing, from like the BSc, from the undergraduate, they're doing things that are focused towards analytics. There are people who are maybe have gone along in their career and they find they've now stumbled upon analytics and AI and feel that, no, this is the enabler, this is the building blocks that they need to get to, make the impact that they need to do. Yes. So that will be a recurring theme in what I say. Whatever route that you find or whatever path you find yourself on, just keep going and keep building on it, because there really is no, at least in my experience, there really is no one way that people get into the career of like analytics and data science. So for me, in particular, so I have always prided myself on being technical. My first degree was in biochemistry and botany, so maybe not so technical, but at least sciences. But by the time I finished my first degree, I knew that I wanted to do things with computers. I wanted to be really analytical. I wanted to build things. So I did a bit of programming. I did a bit of working with just exploring that whole space. I did a master's in information systems and technology, which was a really, really good foundation in, hands-on programming, looking at how information systems work, looking at what the possibilities of tech are really or were in those days. So it was a long time ago, but really that was the stepping stone for me to really start the walk into getting towards analytics. Now, if you fast track to maybe the last 5 years, I mean, people will tell you that data science, that's the hottest career option right now out there. Obviously, there's a whole angle of people using data science as data analytics, whether you're talking about that or whether you're talking about AI. But along that whole spectrum, everyone knows about it now. But essentially, what I have found and why I gravitated towards this is really it's the impact that this can have on what I'm doing. So currently, I'm in the space of making sure that our customer relationships are working, so that we understand our customers, that we have lots of data. As I work in a bank, we have lots of data about our customers. How can we leverage this data? How can we ensure that by maybe bringing in the data analytics and AI side of things, it can actually be a game changer for us? What's the impact that we can have? We know the impact that data science and analytics is having in so many industries. But just to, again, look at mine, in the financial services, the impact really is, the possibilities are endless. You can start from predictive analytics, even going all the way to prescriptive. So you actually now say, what can be done? How can I predict what will happen, what customer behavior will be, and then how can I prescribe something that the customer should do? Because really, that's the sweet spot. That's where you get a win-win. You get a win because your customers are satisfied, and you get a win also because you are servicing your customers, and then profitability is key and it's enhanced. So for me, really, I've gravitated towards it and gone along the way doing courses for executives, maybe 1 or 2 hands-on courses, and I'm sure not as much as you are doing in the bootcamp, but essentially that has been it. So me, who has been in the industry before the explosion, if you will, of data science, AI, and analytics, I have consciously had to go out of my way to say, I want to get involved in this, and I want to bring it to bear on what I'm doing. So really, that's what I've done. So my master's in information systems was a key foundation. I also have an MBA. That for me, and I'll talk about that maybe a bit later. So that for me gave me the understanding about, okay, so we now have technology, but what will it help us do? Well, I mean, what will be the outcome? If you look at businesses are interested in the bottom line, they're interested in profitability, they're interested in serving people, but obviously keeping those costs low. So how does technology fit into the business? Because really, you don't want to be doing technology just for technology's sake. And I'll talk about that also a bit later. So I think this maybe wraps up, my journey, if you will. As I said before, everyone's path is different, and this has been my path. That at each role I've gotten, I have said, okay, I want to bring more and more of analytics, data science, AI into what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay, there's an echo. Okay. Okay, I think it's better now. Okay, thank you. For everyone here, you heard what she said. You heard the first part. She started from biochemistry, because I know this is a popular question, and she has demystified the whole process. The whole process is that the world is for you for the taking. It's literal. It's something she built a career on. She wasn't saying this thing that I don't know maths, because I know that's the most popular thing people say, maybe on Twitter or something. They've not even given it a try. And this is someone that she answers real questions. She leads big teams to answer exceptional questions. That the structure of where she's working is dependent on it, because it's the customers. And she's great at it. Obviously, she's great at it. Like, it's not because she's here. She's great at what she does. And I just like the fact that she has shared that she's not even from, her career didn't start in computing. So if you still have that blocker in your mind, because I understand that the way some people made it to this boot camp is they probably still think that let me just give it a try. They are not yet there. They still want to pursue something that is that they did in school. It's not bad, but it's just the design of the world. So I had the question in the chat window. Let me read the responses so that we can have it recorded. So the question was, how did you find out about AI and data science? And let me start reading. I'll call your name with the response. Now it's not scrolling. Okay. Okay, it's working now. So, okay, so the first person that answered the question said, a friend introduced me to it and I fell with it. That's from Goodness. And Gladys says she heard about data science in the university, 100 level precisely. That's cool. Gladys, which school is that? Is it from the AI community or you read it online? I'm interested in that gist. And Goodness, that your friend is a good friend, the friend that tells you about the cool things. Amina says that through Dr. Bayo in 2018, though I read about it earlier, I didn't really understand. Cool, I'll give Dr. Bayo this feedback. Of course, there has always been an evangelist of data science. Mini said that she took an introductory course in AI, but she heard about data science from a Facebook friend. Oh, I think this happens to everybody when they catch the data science bug. You just keep talking about it. That's cool. That's something nice from Facebook. This is cool, Kabira. You people actually did an AI course in undergraduate. Kabira, did you study computing? Give us the full gist, please. Olawumi said that she heard about data science at Abo Coders. She chose between web dev and data science. So Wumi, did you choose data science or you chose the two? Okay, this is interesting. A friend, I found out about it in school, AI community. I'll give this testimony to AI community people. Oh, cool. A bootcamp took place in my school. Maybe that's Unilag. That okay, it's just interesting. Okay, Kabera studied computer science. I found that from school. Looking for what to keep busy. You chose the right thing to keep busy. Always interested in coding by Tamara. Oh, final year project. Okay, your supervisor did something nice for you. Okay, pressure set from rising in school. Okay, okay, so I think you can keep sharing. Please read the chat window. What stories do to us is that why I enjoy people sharing stories, why Uzo is here telling us some of the most important things that she has done, what she has been up to. It demystifies the whole process for you. It doesn't make it out of your reach because now you've seen people that have done it and they've done it excellently well. Okay, I know that I have asked this question before, Uzo, but I'm going to ask again. What was your most challenging project ever? That when it was assigned to you, or maybe at work, you were just wondering, how do we get this done? And how did you figure it out? If you would like to share about that, I'm asking again.
Okay, well, thanks, Bora. So I would say one of the most challenging projects really was when we decided as an organization at the bank to look at how we can utilize like ground zero, if you will. So really, if you're looking at that, you're looking at not just what data do I have, how is it stored, how do we collect it, is the quality there? You're also looking at, if I now get it in, what's the infrastructure I need to put it through to make sure that it's accessible and it's processed and, you know, all of that happen. And then how do we actually make it available to all the different departments and different users? And then also the change management. So it's going to be a change in the way people work. And we know that change is always resisted. So really, so when I looked at that, I thought, okay, this is definitely a full sort of transformation project. And with every transformation project, or with every project really, because my background is in transformation and being a director of projects, really what you need to do is to try and simplify. So I simplified it, put it into phases, looked at, okay, there's a data governance, data cleansing, mini project that needs to happen. We need to look at the infrastructure in terms of hardware, how the architecture will work. We also need to look at internally, who are the people using it, what's the end user training and all of that that we need to do. So, but I will tell you why it was challenging, yes? You would think that technology would be the most challenging bit, but not at all. Always, we find that with projects where there are, where change is needed, it's really about human beings and how we can assimilate change or how not. Because what we're saying is that some people are going to stop doing what they are doing now. Some people are going to lose some power that they have right now, for example. Some people, for some other reason, might be resistant to it because they feel they just can't cope in this new world. And then there'll be maybe some people also who are happy with it. So really, when you're talking about technology at large, and when you're talking about definitely data science and how you can add value to what you're doing, it'd be good to have that at the back of your mind, that at the end of the day, even though you are producing, technical reports, you're producing reports, analytics, analysis, trends, and all of that, you really have to keep in mind that the people that you need to embrace this are human, and you need to tackle them from the angle of change also. Now, how can I make, for example, you say, how can I make this person, if it's the director of analytics or whoever that needs your report, what do they need from me? What is it that they're actually looking for? Because I can assure you, nobody is looking for a report. In fact, people don't even want to read reports. They just want people to just do. So really, what you're looking at, if you put yourself in the shoes of whoever you're working for and try to say, how can I make their life better? How can I make their work a bit easier? How can I use what I'm doing to make the situation better. And sometimes, just sometimes, it might not be a technical solution. It might be that what is needed is actually maybe for people to get together and dissect the problem even more. So gone are the days of like, oh, there's a problem, go and analyze, go off and do this. No, come back to the people, ask them, what is it, what's the origin of this? Where are we trying to get to? Because I assure you, the more you understand the goal, the outcome that is intended, the more useful you will be. Because there's nothing that you'll be asked for that you won't be able to get a report on, but it's just how relevant is that report and how well have you carried the people along who are with you, yes? So again, there's a technical aspect, which of course you're gaining experience for right now and getting networking experience and mentorship. But there's also the element to say, what is this thing actually going to do for somebody and how can I make it the best it can be from that angle? So yeah, so that was really my most challenging project, and those are the reasons why it was challenging. Of course, it was over a period of time. That also brings in its own complexities. But yeah, so that was it.
Okay. She spoke about the change management and how it's a people thing, because she's right. She's totally right. In practice, there's the technology, there's the algorithms, there are smart things that you probably know theoretically, and when it's time to execute, it's either maybe the people that have to work with it, they are not getting it. She's, like I told you guys, I told you ladies, she shares from her heart. She's saying the exact truth. Like, of course, she's been in her career much longer than I am, but that's the truth. Do the users of whatever solution you are building, do they get it? Is it something they can work with? You don't ever want to be the kind of data scientist or any type of professional that your solutions and people cannot work with it. It's not adaptable. Ma, please, I sent a message to your chat window. I don't know if you've seen it, but
okay, let me check.
Yes, please do. Okay. So ladies, I don't want the session to be I don't want it to be a session of your limitation. This is someone that has lived it, and that's why she's here. That's why she's here. And at DSN, we bring the best of the best. I'm not over bragging, but it's true. So for all your questions, she's sharing about how to deliver technically, and how in practice, some of the most important things you even want to do is not technology based. So ladies, if you have questions that you want to ask live, kindly raise up your hand. People are sharing more stories about getting into data science. And there is a common theme to how they got into it, because there's so many people there, they belong to communities, and a friend that shared. And it's something that I try to let, that I try to let ladies know. You should share interesting things with your friends. You should share some of the most important things that you're working on, because it can virtually change their life. It's in the information. Okay, so graduate studies. Please, are you into graduate studies, or do you do your job by doing online courses? Okay, Ma, she's asking about your background. Maybe you were not in at by then, goodness. Now we have more people. I think you have to share your background again.
Okay, all right, well, thanks. So my background, so just to go chronologically, so my first degree was in biochemistry and botany. I did that at UNN, University of Nigeria. After that, in fact, by the time I got to final year, I knew that I was interested in computers. There weren't many computers around, to be fair, in school then. But when I was serving in Lagos, I noticed that there was a company called ICL that was on Awolowo Road. I remember very vividly. And I enrolled for a 6-month course. And it was a diploma in computer programming. And really, that was, again, another eye-opener for me, because we did things like computer programming, spreadsheets, things like that, manipulating data. And even though looking back now, obviously it was very basic in those days, but it really did pique my interest in information technology and systems. Well, after that, I did a master's in information systems and technology at City University in the UK. And I worked in that for a while. I then also then thought, okay, I need the management, if you will, or business qualifications to just, extend this technology that I'm doing. And I did an MBA. Now, that's been my path in terms of formal education. I also try to make sure that I keep, like learning. I do online courses. I do anything I see, data science for executives, I'm on it, I'm doing it. So I think those things really are very useful because not only are you learning, you're also learning topical things. You're learning things that are happening just now. It's such an exciting field that, almost like every week there's something new that is breaking. And if you're on top of it, you're already half of the way successful. So yes, I do online courses as much as I can. I have done the formal ones. As I said, I've gone through my background. But again, the point to note for those who are just joining is that the path to data science for everybody might be different. And don't discard your experience. Don't discard the fact that you've come from a course that is not numerate, if you will, or you haven't done statistics or math or whatever, calculus. Really, it's about where you think you should be going and how you push yourself to get there. Because in terms of capability, I'm sure everyone on this call, the fact that you're even on the bootcamp shows that you have the interest and the drive. So really, it's just a matter of like dedicate yourself as you need to, and get the things that you need to get. So it takes time and effort, but it's very, very rewarding. I was going to mention in my last question, another key thing is domain knowledge. Yeah. So don't discount yourself. So for example, if you're in a particular industry and you don't feel that you're technical enough to get into data science, don't discard your experience in that industry, because that is what actually makes the difference, in practice. In practical terms, when you have a predictive model, for example, working, it will not work if you don't understand, or if there are not people around the table who understand what the industry is and what it's about, and the parameters, if you will, of what needs to be built. Because you can't build it just, let's put everything in it, let it be rocket science. No, it has to fit into a business environment. So it's very, very key. So again, if you have any of these things, you're well way on your way to really getting and being successful in data science and AI. So that's my background. So as I said, everybody will have their own different story of how they got in. But the key thing is get in and then work your way through.
Okay, thank you. For the people that asked questions on the Google form, so that we can make it live, you can just ask in the chat window again. So we have a question from Precious Charles. She's asking, how do you pitch yourself in order to get desired jobs? How do you pitch? In Nigerian lingo, how do you sell your market?
Okay, that's an interesting one. So I'm assuming, I think it's Precious, I'm assuming you mean going for different jobs. So let me say something now, yeah? So whether you're going for external jobs, so you're looking to change organizations, yeah? Or whether even within your own organization, honestly, you will find that every day you are pitching, as you put it, not for a different job, but you're pitching to get your point across. You're pitching to make people understand your expertise. Yeah, you are making them, so there's no need, I always say, don't feel that by working very hard, sitting in a corner, doing technical stuff, wonderful models, AI, everything, that's going to advance your career, because it probably will not. You'll just be forgotten. So really, it's about making sure that you're doing the work, and then also making sure that you are carrying people along. And I keep mentioning that, carrying people along. So it's about, you don't need to one day wake up, oh, I have to see all of senior management this week so that they will know that I want a promotion. No, it should just go hand in hand with the work. So I was, when people say the best time to look for a job is when you're not looking, right? So it's the things you do in between. It's the things you do when you get that job and feel, yes, I'm relaxed, I'm going to be here at least 2 years, 3 years. But really, that's the time to start mapping out a path for yourself to say, okay, what do I want to have at the end of these 3 years? I want to establish myself as an authority in AI or data analytics or anything. So you start building that step by step by step by step. And don't be so focused on, like maybe your own internal organization. Try and spread out your wings, network within the industry, find out what is happening. It's always a crucial, it's always a very, very good source of ideas like this, boot camp, scholarships, training. Why go and make mistakes when other people already gone through it? Ask them how they did this, and you can just go, avoid the mistakes, at least some of them. So I would say that whole pitching your market, as we say, is really, if you think about it, just incorporate it into your work. As you're doing the work, make sure that you're making people understand what impact it's having, how useful this work is, and where you can do some evaluations. For example, we've been able to add like 30%, of our customer acquisition numbers onto this because we have used a predictive model that, enables us to predict who might leave us. We've now done another one, we've added 50% revenue here because we're able to say, and we're able to analyze our people who are coming into the bank to say, oh, I can identify that these people, even though their bank balance is small, but I can identify from their behavior that actually they are premium customers and I'll treat them differently. And if you treat them differently, you're making more profit. So those are the things that you need to keep thinking about, that even though you're in a technical role, think about the end, the outcome. What is that outcome and how can I showcase how I helped to arrive at that outcome? So that would be my thing, just a continual, gradual, ensuring that people understand what you're doing and that they understand the impact.
Yes, I think we are even going to mention this at our open house tomorrow. I know that people, especially ladies, I don't think it's just ladies, where people assume that you're just in a corner. If your work is not seen, that they will discover me one day. They discover some people, but it doesn't work like that. She has told you the truth. It doesn't.
Yeah, honestly, it really doesn't work like that, yes.
Because things about...
Go ahead, Laura, yeah.
No, because I understand that part about, people thinking not being visible is the same thing as being humble. It's not humility if your impact is not felt, if you can't share about your work. Okay, yes, so there's a question. Yes. There's a question from Ekemini. She says, she's asking that people talk about the data science space, machine learning space, about it becoming oversaturated. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Nigerian companies are ready to absorb all the data science skills that are emerging?
Okay. Well, from my experience, so far, at least from what I know of the industry, okay, so let me start with my own industry, financial services. I don't think we have started at all. I think, we're talking about saturation. I think we're still at the other end of the spectrum, whereby we really haven't even scratched the surface of utilizing data scientists and bring them on board, data engineers and other people to actually mine this data, get the insights that we need to actually revolutionize our business. What you will see again is that people will do what they know works, right? So because this is an emerging field, you don't have people one day waking up saying, okay, yes, I'm going to set up a data science or analytics department, I'm going to do this. Gradually, those conversations are happening, but I don't think we scratch the surface at all. I mean, that's just my view of financial services. Then you now talk about all the other industries. Yeah, you talk about health, talk about manufacturing, so many areas. You talk about retail. There's so many things that can be done in terms of utilizing AI, utilizing analytics, utilizing data science. And then you also then talk about even people setting up their own businesses to solve those problems that we're seeing all around us. There's so many opportunities. So for me, the short answer would be no, not at all. I don't think we're at risk of doing that from what I see in our environment at all, not anywhere close. So those who still want to get into this field and excel, there's more than enough space. And you know what, even when we do eventually get to an area where there are lots of data scientists, I think the field just keeps evolving like every other field. And you find that there are new applications and people, like diversify and some people going to research, some people going to industry, some people going to, NGOs and development market. There's so much we could do. Can you imagine what we can do with data science, AI, in the development world? So in that whole NGO space, honestly, the applications are endless. So no, I do not think that we are in danger of this market being saturated. But I do think it will take, as people get to know more and more about how the possibilities of data science, and I think Data Science Nigeria is so crucial, and I love the work they're doing in making people understand how you can apply this. So I think as the more and more people get to know this, the more and more people will be absorbed, and the more people keep banging on the door, and hopefully we'll have a question around that about, how to really get into, to get the experience that you need to make your CV appealing, to make people understand even without seeing you that you can actually be of huge benefit to what they're doing, then the better. Yes.
I think we can just go to answering that because, okay, there's another question that Academy is asking if should you just stick to applying data science to a specific domain, or you should learn across as many domains as possible?
Okay, well, on the one hand, I would say, of course, if you get exposure to different domains, so if you have a job today in financial services and tomorrow you have in healthcare, honestly, that's great. But perhaps, but for a lot of people that might not happen, or they might not want to even leave, their industry. So, for example, if you have someone who is an accountant who maybe has done the whole ICANN bit, they want to maybe continue in financial services, for example. So I think that's great too. So you can do that. So I don't think it's about going out of your way to learn domain expertise in an area that you're not in, but wherever you find yourself is getting the most out of that, making sure that you are up to speed about what is happening. And that being up to speed might mean having those regular conversations or going out with teams who are actually customer facing, for example, or finding out what the real challenges are. So for example, financial services, you would say you wouldn't understand how impactful, for example, the regulators are in what we do every day. So a lot of the time we're changing things because, there's a new regulation, and these are things that are not options. So how can AI, how can data science, how can analytics help us do that? What is the impact of all of these changes? Are we saying that if we hadn't had these, what would have been our results? There's so many things, you can do. But I think, so for me, domain expertise is very crucial, but it's crucial for where you are. So you don't, and this is just a personal preference, if you will. I wouldn't think, okay, I want to go further in data science. Let me go and learn about healthcare. I would say go to the industry that you're in or that you are interested in, and then learn all you can from there. Yeah. So I think the industry comes first, then you learn about it. Yeah. And of course, there are things that are transferable, of course, from industry to industry, and then there are things that are quite peculiar to others.
Okay, I'll say, I don't know why I have echo, but I hope it's clearer now. I'll say that's the perfect answer to that question. As a professional, you don't get to always pick what you get to work on. It's few people that have that say, this is what I want to do, and this is what they end up doing. Your job as a professional is to understand the fundamentals, and if the criteria or whatever you're working on changes, you can adapt it to that. That is what makes you great at what you do. She talks about finance sector, and now regulation changes. Nobody's going to ask her that, I didn't know that this regulation, they didn't teach us in school, or they didn't teach us at the bootcamp. That's what they're paying her for. That's what, when you get into roles, that's what they're paying you for, to think it's not exactly, that's what they're paying you for. Okay, Florence is asking, what is the reality of data science in health sector? Okay, because my background is in healthcare, I'm going to answer that question. Okay, what I tell people is that wherever there is data science and AI, they work. It's an healthcare sector as data. So data science and artificial intelligence methods, they can be applied in whatever you are doing. I personally, in our research, we have a couple of health projects that we're working on. But what makes our work difficult but interesting is that we are working in a low resource system. So let's say I'm looking for some kind of data, I don't get them digitally, it's probably in paper. So I have that extra audio of cursing. I have that extra audio of getting the paper to be digital or thinking of all the ways to get synthetic data. But Florence, if you want to work in your field as it relates to data science, I understand that it's tempting to think that what you are doing is unique, or maybe it has not been done before. It's a lie. Many things have been done before. Where the question comes for you, let's say you want to do something in microbiology, is as you're analyzing your data, let's say you have big data, you could use data science methods to mine. Definitely, I did it during COVID. There was a large data set. We were looking for patterns of the most popular medication, the most popular symptoms that were mentioned in about 100,000 documents about SARS and related diseases. Data science helped me to do that. It's, you know, I was having this moment that as my code was running, I was thinking, when I didn't know anything about data science, I couldn't have analyzed it this way. So that's how data science changes for you, your machine learning for your big data. You could mine, you could do some OCR, you could do a whole lot of things. I do quite a lot. I can share some, it's not open yet. But yes, data science and AI is in health sector and is in health sector in Nigeria too. How can we incorporate data science into educational system? Well, that question, Kabirat shared that she learned about AI in undergraduate. People in core computing, they learn it a bit, I guess so. So I think that question is a bit above us since we don't make the syllabus. But okay, okay, I heard that I've skipped the question. Okay, let me scroll back. Okay, so Ma, there's a question for you from Sharon. She's asking, how can we encourage more Nigerian firms to embrace the use of data science?
Okay, so that's a really good question. And I think, again, like I mentioned, the work that Data Science Nigeria is doing, I think that's key. The work that other, organizations are doing also, just to, elevate or to make known the possibilities. I think it's a job that everyone needs to maybe put their hands on deck to actually help do. If, for example, if even as yourselves, as people who are now in data science, you can actually do articles, you can do things online and LinkedIn. And I think it's really just the more the word is out there about the impact, yes? Not so much, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm putting the technical aspect down, but when you're sharing with someone else who is non-technical, who is not in the field, what you want to be showcasing is the impact. There's nobody you're going to say, this will impact your life in a good way, and they'll say no. You understand? So I think it's just bridging that gap and making sure we're able to translate, if you will. In fact, there are even roles that are like data translators, but, so if we're able to translate how this can, help whoever it is, whether someone in healthcare, whether someone in, insurance, someone in manufacturing, wherever they are, how can this so-called data science, how can it help me do what I'm trying to do? How can it help me get better outcomes? How can it help me get there cheaper, faster, in a more comprehensive way, with better customer service and customer experience? Then really, that's what it's all about. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's a continuous job.
Yes, it's a continuous job. And I know it's tempting, especially for many people just crossing to data science, to think that data has not been analyzed before. It may not be on the scale that you're thinking or the methods that you're thinking, but I can assure you, people have always analyzed their data, they have derived patterns. So I know that there's the general Nigerian company slander, but I would like to say that it's not that bad. Because it's not that bad. It's not like analytics was not done before. People have been here. People have used methods. People have created theory, So I would just like to let everybody know that, because sometimes what you think you're trying to do that is new, that has never been done, it's a lie. It's been done. So that's the part of history. You should know how analytics was being done before all this, because all these things happened whether we were there or not. Okay, let me.
Yeah, we're actually, that's quite a key point. The whole aspect of history and what has been done before, because the tendency is for when we in the data science world come to people, it's about those really jazzed up models. What can I do with artificial intelligence and all of that? And sometimes we need to actually go back and see what's existing, and then we can map out how to make that, bridge that gap, so to speak. So yeah, that's very key. And again, that will bring anybody you're working with on site to say, yes, I can see, I can see it. I get it now. I get to see how from where we are, we can move to this new, brave new world that is constantly evolving.
Okay, there's a question, even though we've answered that, how can someone, do you think the oil and gas industry needs data scientists? Yes, every industry that generates data, they need data scientists. They do. And they have it in a form or the other. I just think people should know that, because I know that temptation of thinking that what I'm doing, nobody has done it before. It's a lie. So, okay. Yes, see, Kabirat is answering an interesting question. I know that there was a question about AI being in our curriculum. As someone that has background in computing, she said that, yes, she did learn about AI at both undergraduate and postgraduate level, even though it was just theoretical, but she heard about it and she learned about it. Okay. Yeah, someone said I have an idea of what can be done with health data and health industry, but do they exist? Again, Florence, the interesting thing is that the title may not be data scientist, but all industries, they do interesting things with their data. I think this is where the question that Uzo was trying to answer the other time about knocking on the door where they need your skill. Also, have you ever had, what is the most interesting pitch that you've ever had to do, maybe when you were younger, to get your feet into the door? Like, consider me, I'm here. Do you have any story like that you can share with the team? I think I'll give you time to think about it, but you should tell us a story.
Yes. Okay, I'll think of one. When you're ready for me, let me know. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for you if you have one. But a story of, see me, I'm here. I can do this for you. Give me this opportunity. Even if you were not qualified and you went to learn about it. So do you have any story like that?
Okay, so I'm just trying to think back now. So maybe while I was doing my master's in information systems and technology, I'm trying to think what I was doing. I don't think I was doing a technical job because, of course, I just finished, my biochemistry degree and all that. So I was doing a non-technical job. I'm trying to think back how far, like what I was doing then. But essentially, I knew that this new knowledge that I was gaining was very excited, and I did not want to be left behind. So what I now did was to, start applying to, so we had the whole, graduate employment, like graduate schemes where you could get into a company, they'll train you, you rise up the ladder in an accelerated, form. So that was very, very appealing to me. And you could go into technology roles and all of that. But of course, I was not anywhere near, a technology role or any of that. So what I did, and I encourage everybody to do, is I went to, what did they call AT&T, yes, somewhere in England, in London there. And honestly, I just walked into the door and said, can I speak to people who do so, I can't remember which department. And eventually, anyway, I got to see someone who was looking at me very, very strangely, like, what exactly is this woman talking about? So eventually, anyway, what I was telling them was that, look, I am doing my master's in information systems and technology, which is so. And I see that you have a technical department here. And I feel that if I come in, yes, and just help, don't pay me, don't do anything, but I will just help you to just organize, to look at your technology, your systems, your technology. I mean, there's no one who should give up this sort of free help. So anyway, after my whole pitch, I think he was so, not confused, but he was so shocked. He now said, okay, go and see someone else. But like joke, at the end of that of that day actually walked out of there with an internship. Now, it wasn't an internship that it was formal, that they wrote to me, they wrote letter, Uzo Mkparu, come and start internship for 6 months, this will happen now. But I had an agreement with the team. So these things, if you really think about it, these things, if it works, it works. What do I need? I need that experience. I need to be able to say, and for real, to have worked hands-on on a project. And of course, I used that to apply to all the jobs I was applying for. And I got a fantastic graduate scheme with Ford Motor Company. And I remember writing, there's columns, they give you like big boxes to fill. Okay, so tell us where you have excelled or where you have, and you're thinking, what are you going to write? So, but the thing is that the difference between me and someone who was just coming out of either a non-technical job or a role or just university, they hadn't done anything. I now had industry experience. Now, you could now talk about it in a way that of course will, answer the question. So for example, they're talking about technical, when did you do, tell us one, what would I say, achievements, some of your achievements, yeah. So I was able there. So the fact that you're even just already closer to what they might need you to do in real life is great. So I would say never shy away, if you will, from an opportunity to either lend your service or to network or to mentor. And I know that for women, sometimes, not all women, but for a lot of women, it can be that whole, oh, why do I need to do that extra? My skills will speak for themselves. I think sometimes it takes more than that. It takes it takes you broadening your horizon, because those people will know what opportunities there are. I'm sure if I wanted to continue in AT&T, maybe I could have gone and started, say, okay, now that I've now done internship, free work for you, what next, And that's how I know people definitely at the bank who have gotten jobs from being temps and have gotten into permanent roles. So I think that's it. The thing about life also is about taking chances. And, if they say no, they say no. I mean, no harm done, So, but I would say that that's when I felt that I had to knock on a door out of nowhere, and thankfully it paid off. And I used that to get to my next level. So when they were now interviewing me, I was now talking, oh no, I've done this. Oh, have you guys thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing this? And it all worked out. So yes, so that's one from my early days.
Okay, that's an interesting story. So we have a question. Personally, I try not to, over focus on, oh, this is what this gender thing is. But there's a question. Yes, because I know that many times if you show up, but the truth is that it would be a lie to say that there are no challenges that are gender related in the workplace, not just in tech. It would be a lie. So there's a question. What were your challenges as a female in the tech industry, and how did you manage to cope with them? I don't want you to cope. I want you guys to win.
Yeah. But, exactly. No, that's a good way to put it. You want to win, you want to excel. So Wura, just to mention first, I think you've made a really good comment there. There are definitely gender, what I call issues or so in the tech industry. And you know why there is? You know why that is? Because there are gender issues in the general population. So there's no way you'll have gender issues in the general population and not have them in a sub-population, you understand, in a subsector of the population. So that's why. So it's not like tech is different. Now, of course, in tech, if you now have even fewer females than you normally have in other industries, then that brings its own dimension. But having said all this, there are actually advantages and disadvantages. I think as a woman in tech, you do stand out. Now, it now is up to you what you do with that visibility, because you have it already. It's like being a Black person working in an all-white office. And I'm saying that in the best, I'm not saying that as again, there's no need to gloss over these things because they are real. So it's what you do with that visibility. So for me, I would say definitely the first thing is to know your stuff. There's no getting around that, yeah? And you will know your stuff because you are there, because you're interested in being there, you have brought yourself there, you have worked hard to get there, so you want to maintain it and excel. So the second thing, again, is making those, building those bridges. Again, I don't think you can talk about networking, promotions, and all of that without talking about the gender issue again, unfortunately. Now, at least if we know about it, then will be forearmed. To be forewarned, to be forearmed, right? Okay. So use the opportunity not to see, for example, the men as your enemies, no, or you're fighting for something with them, because really it's about who is excelling and who is doing well. So I think use the people who are around you, confide in people, try and get mentors. And the mentors don't always have to be, they don't have to be female. Yes, female mentors can tell you some perspectives on things, but also the male mentors. Obviously, you need to be careful with all of that, but I'm assuming that's a given anyway. Yes. So, but yeah, find out what it is that they're looking for. And there are even like lots of dynamics, even in meetings and all of that. But as long as you're aware that, look, you are qualified to be at this table. You are, in fact, you're probably even more qualified for the other people around the table. So that's where you will shine. But don't go in and look at it like, oh, it's us versus them. Not at all. It's, to me, we're all professionals. Now, the way that we treat our work or the way that we express ourselves might be different. But again, at the end of the day, if you're solving a problem for someone, they will say, yes, please, they will welcome your ideas. If you feel, for example, in some situations that you're not being heard, then what do you need to be heard? What do you need to do to be heard? So those are all the things. So don't go in and be shocked, for example, that, and these are real things, that perhaps you've made a good suggestion and no one has taken it up. And then maybe when a man makes the same suggestion, everyone, wow, So don't be shy in coming back to say, oh, thank you, Shola, for summarizing my early idea. Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about before, So don't take it personal, don't take it, just keep making your point. Because at the end of the day, what do you want to achieve? Just have your eye on the goal. That's what I'm saying, eye on the prize, yeah? So there are lots of good things to summarize, being a female in the technology industry, and then there are other things that as long as you're aware of, you can, work with them. So nothing that is not doable. Women are doing it out there. I think that the worst thing is the fear, if you will, of getting into it. Definitely not as, it can be done because people have done it. Just get the advice, so don't take it as another aspect of, you're learning. As you're learning the technical, you're also learning how to deal with the different people around the table and knowing that you deserve to be there. There's this whole imposter syndrome. I wouldn't say it's only with women, but I would suspect, and I haven't done the research on it, but I would suspect that maybe, women experience that a lot too. Let me not say more because I really haven't done the research. So you should know that no matter what you're feeling, you have gained your seat at the table. Yeah. And where you're not getting a seat at the table, make your own table, and especially as you maybe not so much when you're starting off, but for like women who are in maybe, later stages of their career, there's no reason why they can't go out and actually create things and make things happen. In fact, wherever you are, whatever stage, there's no reason why you can't see a problem in society right now and build something around it. And then look for people who can either fund that, so that you can actually, actually be a startup or something, But all these ideas, all of these are possibilities. I think what we do is sometimes to think, oh, but if I get there, what will I do then? If something else, just take it one step at a time and assure you that, you'll find people and you'll find ways to achieve the goals that you need to achieve. But as I say, definitely doable. Just be aware that perhaps in some areas you need to do some things differently.
Okay, I think that's the perfect answer. I think so. She went everywhere. Because like I said at the beginning, like she said, we cannot pretend as if those issues do not exist, but we can also not live as if that is the only reality. She gave specific instances because that is why we are here. We are not here to sugarcoat what is going on. Again, she's one of the best at what she does. She has lived this thing. She knows what you're talking about. But the first thing is that you are human, and you should never do that thing that you have helped people to cut yourself down before you even get there. From attempting to apply for things, because I know so many people have this perfection thing, And at last year's boot camp, I was hammering on it, how you should not be the one to disqualify yourself or to be extremely sad when you are rejected. You will send as many CVs out as possible. You will be open to the fact that you may not be accepted, but the real crime is in not applying, in not, giving it a shot. Okay, imposter. So yes, she has talked about that, and I like the instance that she gave of when people pick your idea rather than being angry, because people that pick other people's idea, especially the people that do it intentionally, there are some that they are not doing it intentionally. They are counting on you to be quiet for you not to claim that thing. And that's why I like the answer. It's perfect. There are people that, they don't do it intentionally, but in systems where they do it intentionally, of course, it's not the most healthy system. You shouldn't be in places where your voice do not matter at all. But if you find yourself in such system, she gave the perfect answer. Oh, I have mentioned that before. Thank you for re-emphasizing it. Claim your work. You are not leaving it for Jesus. Claim your work, stand by what you have worked on. Claim it, be on it. Okay, so she has answered the question about living, about career, about all that. Someone asked the difference between data science and data analysis, but really what I want to say is that I think it's faster to check it on Google. It will have more it will have more, but if she doesn't mind, are there differences between data analysis and data science that you would like to share?
Okay, so I love your idea of the whole Google thing, yes. But in my own world, yes, I would say the way that we would separate data analytics from data science, and there are overlaps for sure, yeah. So the data science bit of things is actually looking at what can be done with the data. So it's almost like trying to build out from data. The analytics on the other side is looking at, yes, it's looking at what has been done and trying to see patterns, but I see the data science as being more proactive, if you will. So that's where you're looking at your models. That's where you're looking at, what else can I build out from this? How can AI help me? So that's how we generally define it. But I'm sure Google will have very good technical answers to that. But there's definitely the overlap, yes, there.
And I think what you really want to do is that when you're doing data science, you are analyzing data, but this time around, many data scientists use machine learning methods, use machine learning algorithms
exactly.
in their work. It's one of the tools. I keep telling everyone it's a tool. There are certain cases that is not machine learning or deep learning that will save you. It's just something basic that works. She has told us it is what works. It's not technology that wins. It is what works at your workplaces. It is what solves your problem at that particular time. Okay, this is interesting. We have 25 minutes to go. Do you have other questions, ladies? Solid questions, interesting things. She's sharing from, from experience. She's sharing from the depth of her heart. I've made her to share interesting stories with you. You saw how she got that role. So, okay, I saw the question about people asking if we have a group chat for ladies in AI. Yes, we have one. So I'll share about that tomorrow, because I encourage people to collaborate. I understand that there are many times that I talk about ladies, not because, we are fighting a battle, but I just know that sometimes you need a more prompting to collaborate with other people, to know something and do it with your chest in popular lingo. Like you said this thing, this is what you're thinking about your work. It's okay if you get feedback that is not working well, and then you can improve on it. But the real crime is in not sharing at all, just because you want it to be perfect. Yeah, the real crime is not, the real crime is that you don't even make an attempt. I have a paper idea. You can talk to a couple of your friends, because I saw an interesting thread where people were sharing about they got into data science. It's either my friend in class, somebody made, that means somehow in your circle of people, there is information sharing going on already. So I really hope more ladies will collaborate. And then you don't wait for the big thing. It's just like some people to do research, they'll be waiting for maybe me. And I have a lot of deliverables, but you could do interesting things together. So do we have more questions? We have, this session ends at 4:30. And, or should I look for the questions? We don't have drink. We'll have done this over drinks and small chops.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, Goodness is asking, how do people get internship opportunities in Nigeria? I'll answer the first. DSN just finished recruiting interns. Of course, we didn't pick everybody, but we have up to 20 new interns at DSN. So everybody announces, we announced in the communities, but if she has more insight about how people get the internship opportunities, she can share about that.
Okay. Okay, so I think, yes, I was going to say DSN, Data Science Nigeria would be one of your key points to look at for internship. I know that a lot of organizations reach out to Data Science Nigeria for interns, also my organization. So I think that would be the best point of call since you're already, involved, so to speak, with Data Science Nigeria. I think also if you have the opportunity, again, through either friends or people who are looking to do something, you can again pitch your idea. Can you come in and help do so? Of course, you have to know what they're doing or trying to do for you to pitch. But again, internships, everyone, essentially every organization should be able to, have data science interns. So it's really about getting your foot in the door, either making your case, going through organizations like Data Science Nigeria, networking, yeah? Even I know you said in Nigeria, but really, even if you network and get involved in, like global projects, AI for good or things like that, those are all the things that will help you to, either know what is happening in terms of maybe projects that are happening, know people who are looking, find out just opportunities that you wouldn't normally, hear just if you're sitting down by yourself. So yes, it's just going out there and keep asking, this is what I want. Do you know of any opportunities and networking?
Okay, about CV, about family. Well, she has answered the question about family. Do you have more things to share about family?
Okay, what's the question about family?
About family and work.
Also, work-life balance, is that sort of thing?
Yes, that's question.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. So this will go for anyone, including people who are in data science. I think it's just something that you have to work out for yourself what works for you. And I decided early on that, really, people that will come up to you and say, you're doing this. How could you be doing this? How could you not be doing this? So it's really a matter of like finding out what works for you and your family. If you need to have those discussions, if you need to have some compromises here and there, give and take, do so. I'm not one to like say, by all means necessary. So, if you're having to go out of your way and change your life so dramatically that it affects everything else because of your job, I think, again, you need to look at that and see how can I at least have a better work-life balance. So I think it's a thing that you just, like anything else, you just keep improving upon. If you get to a space where you feel it doesn't work or all the time, and this will go for men or women. It's not worth all the time or the other role or making better impact in another role. So I just think it's something you have to keep, assessing as things change, as you change, because as you change and get more into the business industry, whatever industry you're in, you might feel, okay, no, I did that as a junior, but right now I feel that I don't have to do that. I can actually, do something else in a better, more, in a way that is has more of a work-life balance. So I think you just keep doing that, but don't be afraid to start, to say, oh, I'm not going to even apply for that because I will not have work-life balance. That doesn't work at all. When you get in there, there's always a way. There's always a way. And I won't go into the actual practical ways in which people can actually make sure that they have work-life balance. Work works for you. For some people, these are even some of my male colleagues, when they get back from work, after like 8, they don't take any calls, they don't do anything, they don't even do the work on their own computers. Then for some other people, someone like me, I might say, okay, I might not do it right now, but I'll do it later on after I've finished doing something else. So you really just find out what works for you and stick to it and keep assessing that you're having that, mental well-being that is there, because especially in these days of COVID and, working online and all that, you really do have to ensure that you're maintaining that, like mental balance and mental well-being. And, so just keep thinking of that. But don't ever say no to something because you feel that in the future, there will be no work-life balance. There's always a way to work it out. Yeah. And every day you get is experience that no one can take from you. So that is what I would recommend there.
Okay, don't disqualify yourself, but at least apply. Let it be known that, oh, you gave it a shot, it didn't work, rather than concluding, like she said, that it's not going to work out. Okay, so there's a question about, apart from having basic experience in Python programming, what other prerequisites do you need in this field? For this question, as you've probably been reading online, when I say Google, I'm not trying to be dismissive. It's just because it will do a better job than I do. But I think to up your thoughts about that, data science is an entire field. It's not a training you do in 6 weeks and you think you're true. If you're trying to get into data science or tech from any other field, you must respect it that this is an entire field I'm trying to get to. Thank God it's open. Many of the learning content are online or what I can pay for, but it's not a quick fix to whatever you're trying to get out of from. I'm a fan of you getting out of whatever is not serving you well. Like, let's say, you've studied the course, you don't think it's lucrative, or in fact, you could be in a lucrative course and you just want a better horizon for yourself, but it's serious matter. So basics of Python alone will not fix it. The goal of data science is to find insight and pattern in data. What do you need to do that? There are many algorithms related to data science. There is math, there is statistics. For you to be a good problem solver, for you to be someone that we can employ and pay for you to think of all those things, you agree with me that basic Python will not do it alone. Basic Python is just a way to start. If you follow the 70 days of learning before this bootcamp, the content is free online. You can follow it. Definitely, for those 70 days, you were not just learning basic Python. Please go back to that. Give it an attempt. There's a question about JavaScript HTML. JavaScript HTML is not the core of data science. That's a core of web development. But the truth is that if you can do those things as an extra skill, it helps you. Whatever you learn stays with you. It belongs to you.
Yeah.
How useful is the knowledge of SQL? You need SQL. When you're working with data, you're working with databases. You need to get your data out somehow. The data will not come as it comes in Kaggle or Zindi, where the data is clean. What people experience in real life is brutal, the kind of data. So you need all your skills. You need to understand the fundamentals, and then you pick it part-time. At my work, I lead research related to data science and AI. Sometimes I'm doing something related to natural language processing. Sometimes it's computer vision. What these two things have in common is just the basics. Many of the algorithms that I work with, they are in Python. It's just the building block, and then you arrange it based on what you need part-time. So please, everyone should know this. Data science, it's not that, oh, I've been to the bootcamp, why am I not getting a job? Can you answer the questions? Can you answer the questions? If we bring real problems to you, do you have the fundamentals to, do you have the fundamentals to pick one or two together and deliver on great results that the owner needs? I have been saying it that it's easy for us to slander Nigerian companies, but it's tough enough to do business in Nigeria. They cannot just be maintaining a department because they want to help you. They cannot. They cannot say, oh, let's gather 20 data scientists together. We'll be paying them. They should just be chilling. There is no chilling. So please get this together, that data science is an entire field. If you like to work in it, you need a mix of a whole lot of things to be great at it. And the truth is that the design of things, you will have met people as they are doing this. All of us know people that are paying attention and they are great at it. They get jobs. And what this COVID has done, or the internet, not even COVID, is that your playing ground is not just Nigeria if you are good. Everywhere in the world, people are taking roles. I'm sure you've heard of remote roles. people are taking it. So even this internship you are looking for, there are a lot of virtual internships that you can start with. Like I said, we have a new team of interns at DSN. There is so much DSN can do. We love you. We are doing community. We have a budget too. We have things to stick with. So you are entering an entire field. Basics of Python alone is just the starting point. Okay, Google is working on a research to deploy algorithms on websites. Yes, maybe algorithms that can write websites. Many things will be automated, but the truth is that I know that people are saying that, oh, maybe there will be no jobs. There will be jobs. It's just that the jobs will change. The kind of things organizations are willing to pay you for will change. So it's a game of who can learn and the person who can learn fast. Okay, so Uzo, do you have other things to share with us? Do you have other things to add to this? We have about 10 minutes to go.
Okay, so overall, I would say, getting into data science and excelling in data science is definitely very doable. The fact that you're already on a boot camp like this, I think you're already way ahead of so many other people who are thinking about doing this. The way everything is evolving is a good question about Google deploying algorithms on websites. Again, Wura, you've answered it perfectly. It's about things will keep evolving, but what is the role of the tech person in that? So your role might actually be evolving, and you just go with you're going with the flow because you know where the genesis is, you know where it has started, you know where it started from, and you're going with that. So I would say it's an exciting field to be in. Remember, again, you're about solutions. Whatever machine learning model or algorithm you're working with, remember it's about solutions. It's about making an impact on the world in whichever field you're working in. Remember to network. You can't do this alone. Learn from other people's experience. Have a positive attitude and just keep pushing. Remember that you are as good as, or you're probably even more qualified than other people who are around the table. And just have in mind that you will get to the goals that you set for yourself because it's very, very doable. Yeah.
Okay. Also, okay, there's a question about resume and CV here. I think I'll flip that question. What do you have a particular resume that you've seen before and you found interesting? What made it stand out? I'm sure you've seen quite a lot, and I'm sure you've seen quite a lot of terrible CVs. So do you have anything at mind that on your mind that you like to share about? Okay, this is for the CVs that are great, these are some of the characteristics that are in it. And for CVs that are terrible, these are some of the things that the people that wrote it did not do well. You can take some time to think about that, but just about good and bad CVs to help people make better decisions. Okay. Okay, please, can you hear me? I think you're muted.
Oh, I can hear you. Sorry, were you asking me a question? I lost you for a little bit there.
Okay, I was asking about good and bad CVs. What are some of the characteristics?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the common theme of great CVs okay. And the common theme in bad CVs.
Okay, so so maybe I should start from a lot of the job specs you'll find. I think you'll find that even a lot of people who are putting together these job specifications, so who are saying we need a person with this so. I think don't be dissuaded by all the list of skills that you see on job spec. I would say more importantly, what we look for example, is someone who definitely has some of the skills that are required, yeah, but also someone who has done some hands-on experience. So even if it's experience you got through your through the boot camp, but you actually were involved in solving a real life problem, I think that is invaluable because when you get to an interview, you can actually speak about it. And what the beauty of it is that, okay, I applied this to maybe a problem that is, a global problem that's not in Nigeria, but I can transfer that knowledge, and transfer that algorithm and tweak it or whatever to do something else for you. So I think that's where so for me, I think the edge, if you will, at least when we look at CVs, we look at people who not only have that technical expertise, because you can get that online, but people who have now gone that further step to actually see how it can be applied. Because when you get onto the real job, it will be every day about applying what you know. No day is going to be the same. You're going to have to say, okay, things have changed today. They've changed by so way, and you need someone who can come back to you and apply the knowledge that they have. So I think anywhere that you can get that hands-on real life projects, or even start one yourself, I think those are all, really good things. So CVs that give, yes, technical skills, but also express how, involved you've been in a real life project, I think are always useful. What does not work, at least, again, I'm speaking from our own perspective, perhaps other recruiters feel differently. But again, from our own perspective, what doesn't work is just a CV that is full of technical jargon, yes? And at the end of the day, it either says this person has just written everything they could find online in Google and put it on their CV. How do you actually apply that? I think is more important, yeah? So let's see how, yeah, technical, but also business facing, how will it help me? Is the so what factor, and so what, how will it help me?
Okay, so that's a general question about CVs. The reason I'm not I'm not asking that how to put together a good resume for a data science job. A good resume is a good resume. The principle is the same across all fields. Personally, I don't like people to dietify data science and AI like, oh, it's an interesting field, but it doesn't, all the rules of other fields apply to data science and AI. A good resume is a good resume, even, no matter what you're applying for. So I don't want you to, I am getting a shout out in the chat window about the CV I reviewed. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, I don't review CVs often. Please save my inbox, but I'm always happy to help. Okay, so please, data science and AI or technology will not spare you the effect of a badly written CV. Write it well, just like with every other role. The people you're applying to, they are people. And every time there's an application, there are thousands, especially in Nigeria, thousands of resumes. So you don't want to ever submit something that is not inspiring, hoping that by divine intervention, you'll be picked. People deliver on excellence. I know it's tempting to think that, oh, everybody's just coasting it in Nigeria. That's a lie. There are excellent people, the people you're competing with, the people you're applying with, people give their best. People are learning online. People are not just counting on what they learned in school. People are giving their all. So I would like to say the world is not just about you. The world is not just about me. We are here with a whole number of people, and we must respect that. That is why you cannot be too sad about being rejected. It doesn't always mean that you are bad. It's just that there are always people like at this boot camp, we have up to 500 people, people giving their best. So, okay, from my side, we've come to the end of this session. I think Uzo should give a closing remark, and I'm going to do my thank you speech to her after that.
Okay, thank you, Wura, and thank you, ladies, for all the questions. I think if there's one takeaway, I would say it's, again, just focus on yourself. Know that you are good enough, in fact, even more than enough to do the job, and really just push yourself. There might be times, as with every other thing in life, where you're tempted to say, oh, why am I bothering? Why don't I just take it easy? But just, perhaps the breakthrough that you're looking for, whether it's the job, whether it's the promotion or whatever, perhaps it's just right around the corner. So just keep doing the things that you know to do, and know that you're more than qualified, more than knowledgeable to do the job you need to do. Every other thing can be resolved. Every other thing can be resolved within the place of work by networking with people and essentially getting your voice heard. But just don't give up on yourself. I think that's the main, whatever you're doing, focus on yourself and believe in yourself. And I'm sure you'll get to where you need to get to. So thank you very much for all of the questions, and thank you for giving a really, really, interesting session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor to have you here. Like I say, you always come with the best. You give us your best. It's like giving a part of yourself, and we are grateful. We don't take this opportunity for granted. We are always happy to have you. Ladies, men, you can add on LinkedIn. She accepts your request, except your profile
Okay,
is
hello,
really, really
Wura.
bad.
I'm
Yes.
sure you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay, I think my internet is bad. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me, Uzo?
So I can hear you now. Yes, you're back.
Okay,
yes.
okay. I'm saying thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up, for always carrying DSN in your art. We love to have you here. So ladies, men, you can send requests to her on LinkedIn. She will answer some of your most important questions. Please be respectful of her time. She's busy, and yes, she is. She just loves this. She just loves DSN and what we do. Okay, so we've come to the end of this session. Ladies, we are going to have an open house tomorrow. It's just another kind of discussion. Okay, and the WhatsApp group, we'll talk about that. So you can leave and join the main, you can leave and join, leave breakout room. It takes you back to the main event. So thank you for joining. I'm sure you had a great time too.
Yes, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's very, I always find it very stimulating to have such discussions. So thank you, and good luck and well done to everyone who's on the call, and then speak to you all soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay then. All right. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Michael.
Michael, thanks for joining our session.
Yeah, thank you. I learned a lot. I learned if I don't have a seat at the table, I'll create my own table. I think that's tough.
Oh, yes. Very keen. Okay. All right then. Thank you. Bye.